Hi. What's up, fam? Brandon Walker, more Cowbell, the Mississippi State podcast presented by SEC Country in the SEC Country studios today. Yes, I decided to dress up. I have a job interview later. Not me interviewing for a job, but other people coming in, talking to me about jobs. See, I'm important.
Are they going to take my job?
No.
Nice.
You're safe.
Nice.
As long as you're with me, buddy, I got you. Land Shark, on the other hand, So just trying to look nice. That's all. Just trying to look nice. Hello, Jay Hammers, Jason Brinson, Buster Bone checking in from Dubai, Joshua Watts from Colorado, Chris Van Zant from Brandon, Mississippi. Hello, Brandon. Always nice to be in Brandon. Hell State from Las Vegas, Jason Brinson. Hello, Ginger Tuck. Hey, how are you? Jay Hammers from Arkansas. Hail State from Shannon, Chad Mask. Stephen Mills says, what's up, fam? Hello, Stephen. So, interesting weekend. Basketball just keeps getting better and better, doesn't it? It keeps getting better and better. We'll talk about that. Bonnie Williamson Gable says, looks like Ole Miss colors, but you look nice. You know, they don't own red and blue. They don't. All right? This is also America for the Winter Olympics. It just ended. This is America. That's what this is. Hail State from Tuscaloosa. Hello from Tillatoba, Mississippi. James Harvey Darby. Hail State from Picayune, down there in Pearl River County. Nashville here, you're dressed like a frat boy from Ole Miss. All right. I'm going to try to pick myself up off the mat. Point City. Sean Miller would be a good hire for Ole Miss, well qualified. Jeremiah Body says, sadly, I'm working now and can't watch. Well, thanks for showing up and saying hello anyway. Give me a view or give me a click. For a minute there, I thought Walker Brandon was doing the podcast today. I have a job interview later that I'm interviewing someone for a candidacy here, and I wanted to look professional.
Are they from Ole Miss?
They are not. They are not. It's the best dad costume I've seen in a while. You know, if this continues, I'm just going to have to take the tie off. I'm going to give it about 2 more minutes, but I have no problems taking this tie off. Hail State from Naples, Florida. Ackerman is in the house. Jay Hammer says, you leaving? No, it's not. I'm not interviewing for a job myself. I am in a position of power in this building, and I am interviewing the person. Hail State from Marietta. Is that Marietta, Georgia, or Marietta, Mississippi? There's one. I guess Marietta, Mississippi is up there in, what is that? It's in Itawamba County, maybe? Maybe it's in Prentiss County. So it's out in the country. Blue shirt, red tie, those are shark colors. It's America. It's America colors. Because I'm American. Is it a clip-on? No, it is not. This is not the first time. This is not the first time I've ever worn a tie. You know, I try to bring some class around here, and this is what I get for it. Lafayette, Indiana. Hello. Hail State, Dion Mitchell. Jared Williams, Akins, Marietta, Georgia. Marietta, Georgia. I drive through there every day to get here from my home in Cartersville. Drive down I-75 right through Marietta. Tim Dahl says, take it off, take it off, take it off. Now we're apparently a strip club. Now we're a strip club up in here. Oh, boy. You need an Ole Miss helmet up there, says Blair Chandler. Just seeing how easy it would be. Thank you, John Barber. Says, look sharp with the American colors. Kind of reminds me of Matt Luke. All right. All right. Just, have you got a logo you can put on the screen or something? I mean, my God.
Are you going to be able to retie that later?
Huh?
Can you be able to retie that later?
I don't know. I have no idea. I don't know if I can untie it.
Apparently not.
Got a lot going on over here.
Nice.
There. The tie is gone. Does everybody feel better?
You gonna unbutton that top button?
I want to, but it'll take me forever. It'll take me forever. Here's how the top button gets buttoned in my house. When I wake up, my wife buttons it. When I get home, she unbuttons it. That's how the top button. So I would love to unbutton the top button, but it's just not something that's going to be able to happen right now. Are you wearing shorts too or ready to tailgate at the Grove? All right. There. You know what? I feel a little better. I'm glad that we were able to really hash out this important stuff before the show. On the show today, we'll talk about Mississippi State basketball on the bubble, officially on the bubble, and Joe Lunardi's first 4 out of the tournament. Should they be on the bubble? I don't know. That's for your interpretation. I'll definitely talk about it. We'll break down basketball a little bit. Women's basketball, 30-0. They're not on any bubble whatsoever. Incredible team. We'll talk about them. Football made its last hire for the 2018 coaching staff. Joey Jones, South Alabama head coach, now at Mississippi State, a special teams coach. A smart hire, to me, a brilliant hire. And one, it really shows you what Joe Moorhead values in his staff. Now, we'll do a 2-minute drill at the end, and that'll be a good time had by all. The tie is gone. It is on the floor over here. Don't worry about the tie anymore. Chad Mass says, now you look like Forrest Gump.
I'm loving the comment section today. Keep it coming.
That was pretty good. This does kind of look like the shirt Forrest Gump wore. Chad Mask, you got me. All right, you got me. That was good. Will Boudreaux Sturgis says, I miss the shark videos every time the school up north is mentioned. Yeah, what happened to the shark videos? Just stop playing them? Maybe give us a couple shark videos real quick. Give me, like right now. Yeah. Give me a couple shark videos for the show.
What's your favorite one?
I guess I like them all. I can't remember them all. That one's good. That one's really funny. I like that one a lot. They're all good. They're all fantastic. What's happening there? Batman's fighting a shark on a ladder from a helicopter? There's oh, hey girl. Yeah, they're all good. Hail State from Byram. Betty Anderson says, good morning in Hail State from Summerall. How about those girls? We'll talk about that. Top 5 keys to beating Tennessee. I don't know if you got 5 keys. Just keep playing like you're playing. Keep playing like you're playing. Play a little better than you played against South Carolina, but State's been outstanding the last 9 games. 7-2 over the last 9, and those 2 are very questionable. All right, good stuff. Land Shark, you ready? Terp, you ready?
Yep.
Let's go.
The More Cowbell Show, brought to you by SEC Country. And now, your host of the More Cowbell Show, Brandon Walker.
That's me, Brandon Walker, dressed for success here on a Monday in the SEC Country studios. More Cowbell, the Mississippi State podcast presented by SEC Country. You know, the thing is, we do this on Facebook Live every day, and if I don't ring that bell, they will yell at me. They absolutely yell at me. They do not treat me very well. They've already made me take my tie off. I had a nice tie on for this podcast, a beautiful tie in American colors, but apparently it was a little too hotty-toddy in here for some people, so I had to take the tie off, and that's fine. If there's one thing I don't want to be, it's dressed like an Ole Miss fan. So I think we're good. I think we're very good. Now, today's show. Mississippi State basketball on the bubble beats South Carolina in overtime. What a tough, gritty win. What a win that State wouldn't have gotten the last couple of years, frankly. They wouldn't have gotten that as South Carolina brought the heat in the Humphrey Coliseum, and State answered, finally, but they answered. State now on the bubble. Women's basketball, no bubble whatsoever there, 30-0. Think about that. 30-0. That's incredible. That is a remarkable season, and we'll talk about that. Joe Moorhead has made his final hire for his 2018 coaching staff. Joey Jones from South Alabama, former head coach down there. Really shows you what Joe Moorhead values in his coaches. Really shows you what's going that I think is a good trend for the coaching staff. We'll talk about that 2-minute drill at the end of the show. But really, all we need to talk about today, somebody on Facebook Live says, Brandon, top button Walker. That's right. I took the tie off and can't get the top button off. So I'm going to hide it behind the mic on the Facebook Live. So you really can't. Okay, now I'm getting my directions confused. There we go. It's behind the mic. There we go. It's hidden right now. You can't tell. Now, Mississippi State basketball on the bubble, 21-8, 9-7 in the SEC. Now, all I've heard this year is how good the SEC is. The SEC might be the best team in the conference, or best conference in the country, excuse me. And I have a hard time believing you can go 9-7 and still be on the bubble in the SEC. Now, I know State did this to themselves as far as the scheduling goes. I know they called a couple of bad breaks, scheduling teams like Dayton and others that had bad years this year. Usually those are respectable teams. But I know the non-conference schedule is what got us here. It still doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. Today, Mississippi State in the first 4 out, so they're right on the bubble. They're right on the precipice. They're in the first 4 out. The last 4 in has Baylor and Texas. Both of those teams 17-12. Both of those teams 7-9 in their conference, which isn't as good as the SEC. Both of those teams not really with resumes. I think Texas played Duke and Michigan State and Wisconsin, a couple of other teams in non-conference. Well, that's really nice. Didn't beat any of them. Didn't play any of them particularly close. Yet, they get credit for playing them. And that's fine. That's fine. Because opportunity is here for Mississippi State. The opportunity to get in the tournament is here. You have to jump over some high hurdles. You got to do some things at the end that other teams aren't going to have to do, but the opportunity is still there. And that opportunity starts tomorrow night. Biggest game at the Humphrey Coliseum. Excuse me, let me start this over because I've been down this road before. Biggest men's basketball game in the Humphrey Coliseum in at least 8 years. At least 8 years. No doubt since 2010. The biggest men's game in that Humphrey Coliseum this decade. It is basically a play-in game for the NCAA tournament if you look at it like that. If State wins this game, they will be hard to keep out of the tournament. If State loses, they could still possibly get in, but this is the game. This is the opportunity. This is the RPI boost. This is the resume win. State has a couple of good wins so far. They've beaten out of these 8 teams that people think are going to get in from the SEC. They've beaten Arkansas. They've beaten Missouri. They've beaten A&M. They've beaten Alabama. They've beaten all those teams. All those teams seem like they're comfortably in, although A&M's trying to get out. State's beaten those teams, but Tennessee is just a little bit better. A little bit better. They're all alone in second place in the SEC. I think they're 11-5 in the league. We're 9-7. They're projected a 3 seed right now by Joe Lunardi. This is the win at home that changes the conversation. It changes you from talking about, well, what can they do? They're on the bubble. They're this, they're that. It changes the conversation to, Mississippi State should be in. If they beat Tennessee, they should be in. And that's the opportunity in front of Mississippi State basketball right now. It is the perfect opportunity. If you asked me at the beginning of the year, I would have said success for this team is being on the bubble in March. It's maybe an NIT run. It's something like that. Well, that's exactly where we are. And in November, going into the season, if you ask me, hey, will you take playing a number 3 seed at home in late February to get into the tournament, I would say, yeah, I will take that. I will take that. Last 9 games again, 7-2 for Mississippi State. Those 2 very questionable. The Missouri one was outright robbery. The Vanderbilt one was fluky as it could be. Those 2 losses, really the only thing keeping us out right now. However, again, the opportunity is here. Don't worry about what's keeping you out. Worry about what might get you in. And this win would possibly get you in. If we finish 11-7 in this league, and that's beating Tennessee and winning at LSU on Saturday, I just can't fathom getting left out. How do you finish 3rd in the best league in the country and get left out? How do you do that? That would not make sense. If you were to take a 7-11 Texas A&M or an 8-10 Texas A&M over an 11-7 team in the same league that beat them at their place, then I just don't understand college sports anymore. And that's very possible. Now let's move on to the team itself. I have had some debates, both on Twitter, on text messages, about who's the most talented player on this team, Lamar Peters or Nick Weatherspoon. Now, Lamar Peters, it cannot be denied anymore that he's pretty much the straw that stirs the drink. He's the guy. He makes the whole engine go. When he's off, the team's off. when he's on, the team is really good. He is the most important player on this team, I believe. I'm not sure he's the best, but he's the most important player on this team. When he is going well, the team is just a different team. And he has been going well the last month of the season, maybe even more than that. He's been outstanding. But I've had a debate, who's the most talented player, Peters or Nick Weatherspoon? Lamar Peters' turnaround this year has coincided with our turnaround. When he got it going, we got it going. He is absolutely the player that makes us tick. Nick Weatherspoon has also been quietly outstanding to me. He's just a freshman. Think about him just being a freshman. He doesn't make really a lot of freshman mistakes. He's a great defender, gives you an elite on-ball defender in the half-court defense. The team as a whole has improved, but these two guys, here's the thing. I don't know why we state fans debate who's the best player on the team. I don't know why we debate, oh, this guy's important, this guy's not as important. Nick Weatherspoon and Lamar Peters combined to give us something nobody else has in the SEC. They give us two dynamic young point guards. Nobody else has that luxury. We can push, we can defend, we can make people look silly in the half court with Lamar Peters dribbling. We have a luxury of two very young, very talented point guards that nobody else has. And the better they get, the better we're going to get. And next year, they're going to be even better. We're going to be even better. Those two players are exciting to have on the same roster. The entire team has improved to me, all the way down the line. One night, it's Abdul Ledu having 19 points. One night, it's Eric Holman going for 20. One night, it's Quindary Weatherspoon going for 25. One night, Tyson Carter saves you off the bench. The other night against South Carolina, Eli Wright. Where's this guy come from? Comes off the bench, saves Mississippi State's bacon. In a game that we had to have, and it looked like we weren't going to have it. South Carolina was taking it to us, and Eli Wright comes in, gets it going in the right direction. Toughness from that team. Toughness. That Mississippi State would have lost that game in previous years. I go back and look at whether we make the tournament or not. We have come out of our basketball funk. Whether we make the tournament or not, we have come out of our 7-year absence from basketball. We're out of it. Whether we make it this year or next year, we're going to be a tournament team. I think we're a tournament team this year. And if we don't make the tournament, we're better than a lot of teams that will make it. Just look back at our losses. Look back at our losses. Cincinnati beat us really good. Florida beat us really good. That's pretty much it. That is pretty much it. We started showing improvement on the court before we started showing improvement in the wins and losses. At Alabama, we played really well, lost. At Kentucky, played really well for 35 minutes, lost at the end. We started showing improvement before it started correlating to wins and losses. Now, we earned Lunardi's first 4 out. We'll see what happens. Tomorrow night, Tennessee. If you are able-bodied, if your car has gas in it, if you got change in your pocket, make sure you get to the Humphrey Coliseum. I'd love to be there. Can't be there. Huge game. Biggest men's game in years at the Humphrey Coliseum. Mississippi State women's basketball, I don't even know what to say about them. What do you say? 30-0? 30-0? I mean, coming in the season, they're good. You know they're a Final Four contender. You feel like they're a national title contender. But 30-0, going through a league this tight, a league this good, 7 ranked teams in the league, and you go 30-0, and you don't really have very many close games. How many close games have we had in the SEC? Missouri was close. South Carolina, I guess, was relatively close. Other than that, there just hasn't been a whole lot of stress on this team. And I always thought this team would be better this year from last year. I just didn't know they would be this good. I didn't understand they can be this good. I didn't know Victoria Vivians would go from being a good player to one of the 5 best players in the country. I knew Tierra McCowan would be something, but she's an absolute force of nature. But really the difference to me this year is the secondary players. They are making the difference. Blair Schaefer has been outstanding. Roe Johnson has been outstanding. Chloe Bibby was really good the other day. And then every time somebody gets in the game, it might be somebody new. It might be a Jasmine Holmes one game. It might be Morgan Williams, who the hero from last year. It might be any of these guys. Girls. It might be any of them. And it's just an incredible team. I heard a stat the other day. If you think about women's college basketball, the McDonald's All-Americans, pretty much every year, they're going to go to several places. They're going to go to UConn. They're going to go to Notre Dame. They're going to go to Stanford. They're going to go to Baylor. That's where your McDonald's All-Americans are going to go. Mississippi State is 30-0, and there's not a McDonald's All-American on the team, which makes me gives me a couple thoughts. A, who was picking the team when Vivians was a senior, and who was really picking the team when McCowan was a senior? She was 6'7" back then. How did she not make the team? Anyway, this team is just winners. There's nothing I can say. They're just winners. They're just an incredible team with an incredible coach. One of the finest teams in school history. We have to let the season play out before we crown them the best team in school history. After all, last year's team ended the streak and played for a national title. But they have a chance. They have a chance to be in that conversation. Joe Moorhead makes his final hire at Mississippi State. Well, not his final one. I assume he'll make one in the future or make some in the future. But for the 2018 staff, it is complete. Former South Alabama coach Joey Jones, now part of Mississippi State's coaching staff. He will be the special teams coach or coordinator, as it were, whatever you want to call him, special teams. This is the third coach on this staff with former head coaching experience. Andrew Briner, who is the quarterback's coach, was the head coach at Fordham. Mark Hudspeth, the former head coach at UL Lafayette. And now Joey Jones, former head coach at South Alabama. It's a very good hire. I love the hire. I love the hire from the coaching perspective. I'm sure he knows what to do on special teams. I love the hire from a recruiting perspective. This is a guy who's been all through the South, and he already – listen, I don't know if it's connected, but we got a commitment from a cornerback out of Spanish Fort, Alabama, down the Mobile area just the other day after Joey Jones. I don't know if it's connected at all, but I do know that Joey Jones knows that area, and he will benefit us down there and probably throughout the entire state of Alabama. But what I like about this hire the most is Moorhead clearly values leadership in his coaches. He clearly values stability and guys who make the right decisions and maturity and people who have been depended on to be head coaches before. And what I like about it the most is when you send these guys out in recruiting, you can trust them. You know they know the lay of the land. There are no surprises to them. They know what happens. They know there won't be any mistakes, any stupid mistakes. I guess to put it mildly, you won't have to worry about this recruiting staff with all these coaches on there going out and pissing off recruits and sending otherwise guys that would probably sign with State to LSU or Auburn or other places. You don't have to coach around the immaturity of one of your position coaches. How about that? I really think Joe Moorhead values leadership, and it shows with who he has hired. I'm very excited about this Joey Jones hire. I'm very excited about this coaching staff for 2018. Now, 2-minute drill on the podcast. You can hit me up at bwalker_SEC and answer me on Twitter. We'll go very quickly. Number one, if you could add one SEC player to the 2018 Mississippi State football team, who are you adding? If you could add one SEC football player to the 2018 football team, who are you adding? I think the easy pick is a receiver, and probably A.J. Brown, although I haven't gotten over it yet, so I'll never admit to wanting him on the team. But I will say maybe Greedy Williams, LSU, cornerback. Probably one of the best cornerbacks in the league. I think cornerback is where you need to go, maybe defensive back. Otherwise, State's pretty good. Raekwon Davis at Alabama, give you another monster on the defensive line. That might be a good one. Chris Van Zant says A.J. Brown. Alan Smith says A.J. Brown. Wayman Hodge says A.J. Brown. So I guess you guys have forgiven and forgotten. Yeah, I mean, that makes the most sense. And he should be on the team. Just think about how loaded State would be this year. And State's loaded anyway. And he's never going to go to a bowl. Anyway, doesn't matter. Mac McBrayer says Chad Bumpus. Not really sure, Mac. You're with me on this question. Raekwon Davis says Jay Hammers. Calvin Ridley says Jeff Palmer. That's a good one. Wait, is Calvin Ridley still going to be on Alabama's team this year? I don't even remember what Calvin Ridley is. Is he a junior? Is he a sophomore? Seems like he's been there forever. Most people say A.J. Brown. Yeah, that makes the most sense. Number two. What TV show has the best theme song of all time? What's the best TV show theme song of all time? Would you like me to sing you one? No? Landshark, you don't look impressed. If you threw a party, invited everyone you knew, you would see the biggest gift would be from me, and the card attached would say, "Thank you for being a friend." Neither of you have any idea what show that is.
Nope.
Yep.
So you were singing earlier?
It was. That is the theme from the Golden Girls.
Never seen.
The gold. Yeah, no. Laverne and Shirley, Saved by the Bell. Cheers. The Fall Guy. I don't remember the Fall Guys theme song. Michael Clyburn wins today. He says the More Cowbell podcast. Well, sorry, guys. Michael Clyburn wins. Cheers, where everybody knows your name. Golden Girls, Andy Griffith. The Simpsons. Well, yeah, I don't. Okay, it's pretty catchy. Airwolf, Smokey and the Bandit. Smokey and the Bandit was a movie, wasn't it? Did they? Okay. The Wonder Years. That was a good one, too. That was a good one. I can't think of it in my head right now. The Facts of Life. You take the good, you take the bad. Something. There you have the Facts of Life. All right, there you go. Number 3. Who is your most hated Ole Miss Rebel of all time? Who is your most hated Ole Miss Rebel of all time? Let's see. It's 12:12 Eastern time, so we'll go ahead and wrap up this question at about 2:30 or 3 o'clock. So this could take a while. Your most hated Ole Miss Rebel. And nobody mentioned the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, by the way. Just want to say that. Just putting that out there. In West Philadelphia, born and raised. On the playground was where I spent most of my days. Nobody said it. Alan Smith says Hugh Freeze. Tim Dahl says A.J. Brown. A.J. getting a lot of love on the show today. Jay Hammer says that's going to be tough. Reed Burrell says Brandon Walker. I took the tie off, Reed. Marshall Henderson says Jake Arrington. Junior Ray says Marshall. Tim Frank says all of them. Tim Frank's also with the correct answer. Deuce McAllister says Jay Hammers. Stuart Patridge says Michael Fuzz Mangialardi. I'm just taking a shot. Marshall Henderson. Eli Manning. Metcalf. Freeland Speaks. Landshark. You got to vote. Yeah. Don't give me that look. AJ, and Marshall Henderson. So it was between Marshall Henderson and AJ Brown, I'd say. It felt like Marshall Henderson got the most votes. Number 4, which TV game show would you most like to be a contestant on? Which TV game show would you most like to be a contestant on? You know, and some of you on Facebook Live, don't say Jeopardy, because listen, I talk to you every day. You need to just pull back a little bit. Are you a Wheel of Fortune guy? Are you a Price is Right guy? Price is Right isn't fun because you're only there like 2 minutes. You only do one game. Like Wheel of Fortune, you're there the whole show. Jeopardy, you're there the whole show. Jay Hammer says Jeopardy. Jay, I don't know about that. Who Wants to Be a Millionaire says Wayman Hodge. Alan Smith goes with The Price is Right. Derek Whitford says Wheel of Fortune. Chad Edwards says one that I would win on. Well, some of these guys are just cutting right to the chase today, aren't they? Double Dare says Miles Culpepper. Shut it down. That's it. Double Dare. Double Dare wins. Family Feud, Pressure Luck, Match Game, Wheel of Fortune, Double Dare.
What's your answer?
Well, I'm smart. I'm really smart.
Yeah.
Jeopardy. Actually, I'm really good at Wheel of Fortune, so it would be Wheel. No, Sports Jeopardy is an awful show. It's too easy. Sports Jeopardy way too easy. Anyway, so I've always fancied myself, I'll go on Jeopardy. But if you've ever taken the online test, it'll humble you in a heartbeat. It is not easy. You have to get like 22 of 30 right, and I think last time I got 14 of 30. And it's difficult.
I'd probably do it.
You could not.
Yeah.
No, you absolutely.
Is it multiple choice?
No, it is not.
Yeah, I can still do it.
Have you ever known Jeopardy to be multiple choice in your life?
No.
I'm telling you right now. There are 30 questions in the Jeopardy online test.
What'd I get? Over under 5.
I'm giving you, if you get over half, if you get over 15, I will give you $10.
Oh, how do I take this thing?
We'll talk about it afterwards.
All right.
Ethan Fleury takes the Jeopardy test every year and never gets a call. See, I've never gotten the call either. Number 5, best TV dad. I guess it was all TV today. Sorry about that. I wasn't thinking. Best TV dad of all time.
Phil Dunphy on Modern Family. That's my answer.
Phil Dunphy on Modern Family.
Yes.
I will accept Uncle Phil from the Fresh Prince. I will accept. Who's the one? There's one. Andy Griffith, obviously. Sheriff Andy Taylor. Jay Hammer says I would destroy you in Jeopardy. Fake news, Jay. Fake news. You would not. Al Bundy? Pretty good. Michael Clyburn says Brandon Walker. Michael Clyburn. Can we send Michael Clyburn a shirt or something? Can I just have that? I'm going to send that shirt to Michael Clyburn. Sorry. I'm taking your shirt away, Terp. Tim the Toolman Taylor. Peter Griffin from Family Guy. Ward Cleaver. Al Bundy and Peter Griffith. Uncle Phil or Carl from Family Matters. Carl Winslow. Carl Winslow was pretty good, too. Of course, my favorite was Dr. Heathcliff Huxtable, but you know how that ended. that ended poorly. That ended poorly. Hank Hill, Homer Simpson, and Mr. Cleaver. All right, that's the 2-minute drill today. Thank you for playing along. If you're on the podcast, you can hit me up on @BWalker_SEC. Try to get your free T-shirt. Until next time on the podcast, my name is Brandon Walker. You've been listening to More Cowbell, the Mississippi State podcast presented by SEC Country. You know, if I was just thinking, I'm going to have to tie that tie back. If untying it on the show was impossible, could you imagine me trying to tie it on the show?
You should do it.
We only have about 13 more minutes.
It'll probably take you twice that long.
It's going to be an ordeal. Why is this bathroom closed over here? It's been closed all morning.
It's not. I just used it.
Well, it has a no entry closed bathroom.
Oh, well, I just defied that law. Went right in there. Worked fine.
Why can't you find MSU baseball on Apple TV? Are they blocking us? I don't know. I got to be honest. I just not. My excitement for MSU baseball took a real big hit last week. Real big hit. And if they had gone undefeated this weekend, maybe it would have been restored a little bit. But, losing yesterday kind of put a little dent in that. So, I don't know. Fred Harley doesn't hate any of Ole Miss's players. Well, it doesn't have to be a player. It could be a coach. Be their mascot. Could be some of their fans. Could be anybody, really. Family Feud. People still talking about the game show Family Feud.
I think I would do Deal or No Deal.
Deal or No Deal.
No skill. You just pick a.
That's also
great.
That's not even on anymore, is it?
I don't know. Probably not.
Most likely to transfer Eli Wright. I would say that's possible. Eli Wright, maybe Datcher, but who am I to say? I don't know. I don't know what's going on with the basketball team. I mean, maybe.
Is Wipeout considered a game show?
Sure.
I'll do that. That would be my choice.
Can't get baseball because we are on the road. Well, there you go. There you go. Only home games, apparently. Jay Hammer says Billy Brewer was my dad's high school coach, but he was an Ole Miss coach, and I couldn't stand him. Lance Musgrove says somebody named Yancey. So I don't know who Yancey is, but there you go. What's the magic number of wins to get in the tournament? There is no magic number. You just got to get the right wins. Like, I think you can beat Tennessee and maybe even lose to LSU and win one in the tournament and be fine. Beating Tennessee is the key ingredient here, though. You got to get that win. You got to get that RPI boost. You got to get that nice win that you don't have yet. It would be the best win we have this year. Got to get it. You must officiate SEC basketball because you robbed me of my Fresh Prince theme song answer. Jordan Goose or Orrell. I did not see your answer. I'm sorry. That's my fault. But that was a little low, right? Telling me I officiate SEC basketball. That's not right. That's a little below the belt. Newlywed Game and Card Sharks. Oh, God, what was the name? The same guy hosted both shows, didn't he? The same guy hosted both of those shows. What was his name? Dang it. John Joblin says Double Dare. So Double Dare was a game show on Nickelodeon back in the late 80s. And it was amazing. They had an obstacle course at the end.
I think I saw something. I used to watch that.
They had an obstacle course at the end. It was fantastic. And everybody would always go so slow through the obstacle course. It made me mad. That's all I ever wanted to do in my life when I was 9 years old was take and run the Double Dare obstacle course.
I've never been beaten in an obstacle course race undefeated. It's my secret skill.
How many obstacle
Not
course
many.
races do you find yourself running?
Not many, but
Like,
never lost.
like one?
Probably like 10.
You've run 10 obstacle course races in your life?
I would say.
Where are
probably
you
more.
getting confronted with so many obstacles?
I mean, not like like I did a couple times in college, but
What are you expecting out of the defense this year if we have Sweat, Simmons, and Rivers? I'm expecting to be a top 10 defense in the country. We were last year. I'm expecting to be a top 10 defense in the country. You've got probably the most talented defensive line in all the SEC, and that's including Alabama, Georgia, LSU, and Auburn, and all those blue bloods. Yeah, I expect a top 10 defense in the country. That's what I think we have the talent for. How bad was that no-call foul on Q that led to the guy hitting the three? Ridiculous. Yeah, I thought it was bad, but I still thought, like, State fans are all a Twitter about that not being called. Like, you call this and you don't call that. And, yeah, Q tried to foul the guy, but I felt like it was a very nonchalant effort on Q's part, too. He just kind of reached out there. Should have been called, but I felt like we didn't exactly sell that as good as we could have. The No Whammy show, that was Press Your Luck. Press Your Luck. That's what that show was called. Hey, buddy. How do Grantham and Shoop's defensive schemes differ? Morgan, Maurice, Willis? Well, they have a different alignment. I know one's a 4-2-5, I believe, and Grantham was a 3-4. Past that, I don't know how aggressive Shoop is. I don't know how much blitzing he does. I can't really sit here and tell you that I am really in tune with what Bob Shoop's strengths are defensively. I know before he went to Tennessee, he was very, very highly regarded, and Tennessee kind of took some shine off of him, and he looks to get that back. So I really can't do you an X's and O's answer on that one. I just know that he is a previously thought to be a very, very, very good defensive coordinator and is trying to kind of get back on top of the mountain a little bit. Mullen never really utilized our tight ends in the passing game. Do we throw more to the tight end with Moorhead? Hopefully, says Alan Smith. Yes. Oh, and I need this Scott Chilton question too. Yes. Joe Moorhead at Penn State had a Mackey Award finalist. His name was Mike Jasicki. He had 54 catches this year. He threw to the tight end a lot. It was really silly to me that Mullen would never throw the tight ends. Farrod Green's a very talented receiver, I think. Could have been thrown to a lot more. So, yes, I think Moorhead is going to make tight end a priority. Scott Chilton had a question. Did the ladies need a loss in the SEC tournament going into the NCAA tournament? And this is not directed at you, Scott, because I've seen this question a lot. A lot of times the team's undefeated, and you say, do they need to lose before? In sports, you never, ever, ever, ever need to lose. If you need to lose, you've got your priorities and all mixed up, and you're a little too superstitious. Nobody ever needs to lose. No, the women do not need to lose in the SEC tournament. Will it hurt them if they lose? Probably not. But they don't need to lose. How do you think the crowd will be at the Tennessee game? I hope it's really good. It was definitely disappointing in South Carolina. Tomorrow night, 6 o'clock on a Tuesday. Student section needs to be full, though. They're in Starkville anyway. They need to be there. Just got here. Who are we losing from the women's team after this year, says Landon Miles. Well, we're losing Victoria Vivians, Morgan William, Blair Schaefer, Roe Johnson. There's always the risk that, although it doesn't happen often, there's the risk that Tiara McCowan could go to the WNBA early. So losing a significant portion of your team, 4 out of 5 starters. Michael Clyburn says, well, Ole Miss is garbage. Don't know what he's referring to, but I endorse his stance. Student section was half full before the South Carolina game. I just don't understand that. Like, students live in Starkville. They live in Starkville. Now, I'm not going to hate on them because it's not like, student section wasn't 100% full, but there used to be a time where the Humphrey Coliseum for men's games was the place to be, and it was loud, and it was great. The student sections were in the right place. The pregame music, everything was right. And then administration messed with it, and they changed everything around, and they zapped the Humphrey Coliseum of its energy. And there are too many people that own season tickets that don't go to games. And that's just sad. That's sad. And yeah, I know the student section was half full, but they weren't the only ones. Now, the students need to come out and be at this game. Like, if you're a student and you're in Starkville on a Tuesday night, what else are you going to do? Nothing else you can do makes any sense. The students are still out searching for the landing. Well, Micah Halfacre says Rick Ray killed our student section when he was hired. How do you kill a student section? Rick Ray was hired in 2012, maybe 2012, something like that, 2013. He was hired back then, 2012. That was 6 years ago. None of the students who were there, who were students when Rick Ray was hired, are students now. So how did he kill the student section? That's 6 different groups of students. So no, I don't get on board with that. The students need to be there. They need to be there. Although I will say, when I was growing up and the student section went out to half court and they really were good, and now they're kind of stuck behind the basket and up in the up in the upper reaches, and they've got the worst seats in the house. So why not? I mean, they don't really have a lot of incentive to be there. I think it'll be about 9,500 people, says Andrew Stevens. That would be a good crowd. That would be good. I'll say this about the hump. It gets loud regardless. If there's 5,500 people in there, it gets loud. It's just a loud building. He didn't bring a winning mindset, says Micah Halfacre. You're right about that. I mean, he wasn't a good coach. Don't get me wrong. But Howland's been here for 3 years, and now he's clearly building a tournament team. If the students were thrown off by Rick Ray, I mean, they've had plenty of time to come back. Kenny Manning says, I was on campus during the game. The students were walking all over campus. Go to the game. Jeremy D says, bring back the rowdy section, call it Howland's Howlers or something like that. Don't we have those guys? Don't we already have them? They're just not as visible as Rick's Rowdies used to be. It's really about, I mean, in this day and age when every game's on TV and, people aren't going to drive 2 hours to watch a game, they can be on this on TV. You got to give them something special. And we're just now getting to something special in men's basketball. We're just now getting there. Women's basketball, they don't have a problem packing them in because they're special. And you can't just be a good team. You got to be a really good team or almost a great team to fill your basketball stadium these days. That's just the truth of the matter. Duke has the students directly behind the opposing team's bench. We should rethink. Well, Duke has a stadium or a building about the size of this room right here. That place is tiny. It's tiny. So, and plus they compete for national championships every year. So they're never going to have a problem with their student section no matter where they are. It shows how much respect for basketball was lost during the drought, says Micah Halfacre. Possibly. Well, you guys are wanting to talk sports today. What's gotten into you guys? I'm very worried about tying my tie again. I should not have taken that tie off. But peer pressure. All right. There, you guys got me. So was it just the red tie? Was it the red tie that did it? Like if I wore a different color tie, would it be okay? If I wore an orange tie, I'd be fine with this. Cameron Indoor is a garbage arena, says Wayman Hodge. I've been in it, and you see it on TV, and you think, wow, this is a cathedral of basketball. No, it's very much not. Very much not. Buster Bone says, what's for lunch? I think I'm going to go to Cox today. I'm going to go to Cox. Eat something good. Are we looking at Moorhead through maroon glasses? Yeah, of course we are. Jason Miller. Of course we are. Just a matter of time to see if he proves us right. But every fan base in the SEC looks at their coach through team-colored glasses. That's not just us. And once they stop looking through team-colored glasses at their coach, that coach will be gone in short order. That coach will be gone. They stopped looking at Les Miles like that at LSU, and he was gone. They stopped. It feels like Auburn is very close to stopping looking at Gus Malzahn like that. Moon Pie Davis. Hey, buddy. Thanks for being here. Somebody said, what's the best 80s movie not called Fletch? Best 80s movie not called Fletch. Oh, there's a bunch of good movies in the 80s. So many good movies in the 80s. I'd have to really think about that. I might come up with that list tomorrow. Fletch is also terrific. Love Fletch. It's tax time. That means go big for lunch, pick up the tab. My tax money's already gone, buddy. I did my taxes early. And that money is accounted for. Chances Moorhead and Luke heal the rivalry to some extent. It feels like Bill Anderson, they are trying to do that. And I think that's probably a smart play. I think that's, although the irony of a coach who just had a player. Yeah, I probably shouldn't say that. Probably shouldn't say what I was about to say. I have my dollar bills ready for when you take a tie off again. Thank you, Bonnie. You can always count on Bonnie. All right. Landshark, you ready? All right, pay attention next time. What have you been doing? Texting over there? You playing Tetris? Terp, your headphones aren't even on. You can't even hear me. You look ridiculous. You're ugly. I don't like you. Are you taking the Jeopardy online test? Continue. Carry on. Until next time, my name is Brandon Walker. You've been watching More Cowbell, the Mississippi State podcast presented by SEC Country.